Hey everyone, it's me, the creator. I don't want to give my name or any other information, so don't bother asking. Sorry. Let me get straight to the point. As I'm recording this video, it is November 25th, 2024, and I'm recording this and giving Alex, the vice creator, instructions to make and publish this on my behalf. So if you are watching this video, that means that I have been indicted for a harassment claim and I have been hauled to prison. And you definitely are wondering why. This is the last chance for me to do so I just want to say that I think it's time I tell you the truth about some stuff some of you weren't happy about. You'll see what I'm talking about later. The claim started during the spring 2024 semester at some event, which was like a formal masquerade dance event of some sort. Everything was going very well and I was having the time of my life. I even met two girls and they seemed nice. I don't want to give their names due to privacy. So for now, I'll just refer to them as Jane 1 and Jane 2, because get it? Jane Doe? It's alright if you don't. But anyways, I'm one of those guys who tend to be talkative sometimes. In the masquerade event, I kinda wanted to strike a conversation with the Janes, because obviously, communication and social skills are what I need in life, just like everyone else here. After that, things were thought to be going well and I was happy. That is, until over the summer, I realized that they unfollowed and blocked me on Instagram. I didn't know what had prompted them to do so at the time, but it may have been really suspicious. I do recall that I wanted to make Jane 1 as a me character at some point after the masquerade. Though I did this over Instagram and that got executed pretty weirdly, because she questioned why, which isn't normally supposed to happen in yes or no questions. I didn't want to mention that I was part of GTR Studios because that would have been too large scaled and she would freak out. So I said it was for an OC idea. But I probably should have chose better reasoning because she said no, and I'm guessing she was possibly too weirded out on that. Jane 2, however, was a completely different story. Well, you see, she was in my media communication studies class at some point last semester. That class was really hard and I was about to fail at a 58%, so I had to ask her for help. Before that did actually happen though, I wanted to strike a chat with her after those classes. However, I felt like I was doing too much, so I stopped because I thought she was getting annoyed. Then I took a video of the Janes at some point during another campus event and I intended to send the footage to them later. The reason I didn't get to them now was because I had a Calculus 2 quiz at the time, so I had to hurry. I was gonna send it to them at some point after that, but by then it was too late because Jane 2 requested that I delete the footage of them. I was also unaware that one of their friends also got it, so I had to do it anyways. Nothing special. Now, note that I didn't do anything with the footage or anything, I kept it private and hidden. University code says I can't post about other people unless I get their approval, and I know that very well. Everyone knows that if I did, I would get caught, so that's why. Well, all those events kind of sat with me for the past summer and half of the fall 2024 semester. That's when I even gained suspicions that they were gonna do something sinister. It's a good thing I was very observant and caught that early. Unfortunately, it was not as early as I thought I would. When some others unfollowed and blocked me, I started to notice some sort of chain reaction. I have suspected that they were trying to turn people against me. One or more other people in the friend group also blocked me, which made it even more suspicious. At first I thought they were overreacting and stuff, but I was wrong and it was a lot worse than that. In the middle of the fall 2024 semester, another person who I happened to have interacted with at a dining hall last year came up to me and gave a confession. And you'll never believe it, but my suspicions became real after what she said. Turns out Jane 2 has been spreading the harassment allegations with her acquaintances. One of those people has a Twitch account, so it made it even more dangerous. And as much as I hate to say this, there were now reasons to believe that one or more people would end up getting revenge on me for the whole ordeal. And with each passing day, I've been feeling more and more insecure and stressed. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do anything about it because I got critically documented by too many people associated with those two, and it was kind of the wanted poster basis, just like the wild, wild west. In other words, I was under review for this stuff. Thus, I even had to go into exile during my journey in the second semester and stay away from anyone who was involved in that incident. Aside from that, I'm gonna have to confess that this isn't the only time I've been on some shady rodeo. I can't keep these details from you anymore, since I figured that I would possibly never see the light of day again. Y'all remember Battle for Woohoo Island 1, right? Does Duplex character elimination ring a bell to you? If not, that's fine. Anyways, let's start with Battle for Woohoo Island 1. Well, you could say that I wasn't the cleanest director around. For those of you who saw Special Agent Deadpool back on the Google Slides channel, y'all may be wondering why I put that not safe for work image of myself and Piper. First off, I used to simp over fictional characters ever since I was in middle school, which seemed okay to me at first. I actually knew that if I simped for someone, I would be made fun of because that's technically a sin in my community. It didn't seem too bad for me simping on Princess Peach, Rey Skywalker, and others, but I got teased by some people for liking Rey Skywalker back in middle school, especially with that one dude called Noah in my computer applications class. Before you knew it, my grades started slipping and I started getting in trouble in class, especially with him. I just became something I didn't want to be, so I had to do something about it before it got worse. I knew this wasn't the Jedi way, at least not in school. So I came up with a plan. I talked to the teacher, told him about the distraction, and he agreed to let me move. If Noah questioned about it, then I would tell him that the teacher moved me due to distractive policies. The whole thing was how I learned my lesson with openly stating my favorite characters. As I said, I'm about to be arrested and it won't matter anyways. But I am going to have to confess something to you all about Battle for Woohoo Island 1. There's no easy way to say this, but I actually liked Piper as I believed her to be the golden girl, and I was like a fan of my own OCs. So it does actually look like biased favoritism, and there's no way to sugarcoat this now. Not like it's going to matter to some extent at this point. I mean, it was kind of similar to how Colleen Ford liked Sophie Piper from Halloween Town as well as Raritan. But the thing is, I do recall that some accused me for doing well with Piper. But not just Piper though. I had biased favoritism over almost all my OCs, which kind of explains why almost all the winners here are my OCs, of course. But I am going to make this very clear. What was actually true was that the remote did desync in the table tennis episode, and I was too lazy to redo it because back then there were the SATs, which technically meant a short time frame as it ate up a lot of my time. From there, it kind of meant I had no choice, unfortunately. But even then, I would come to realize that I've messed up and there's no denying it. From the start, I never had the intention to rig it for a specific person to win, even if that person was my favorite, But to be honest though, I had nothing against poor Zingis. I would never fail him or anyone. If I really hated him, I would not have let him win Wii Festival and I would have been more biased by now. But I did like him and I liked that he won Wii Festival. No offense, Alex Russo. Just know that I am not saying this just to sugarcoat this whole situation. I just want to say what happened and what I believed at the time. But setting this aside, I guarantee you, once I get out of prison, which would probably not be for the next several years, I will be a clean guy and treat all guests the same way. Guess I can say that this is why I can't have pretty looking me characters like Piper, Avery, or Nina. Now, fast forward some time later. You all might be wondering what all the speculation about Duplex character elimination was. That season that lasted 52 episodes, with it being the first ever all-female finale? Yeah, that's the one. Well, I can't keep this from you anymore. As you all know, Bowser, Waluigi, Xi Jinping, and Golden Nissan have been involved in a burning mansion incident in episode 50. Based on the like-dislike ratio of the episode and the finale voting and results, a handful of you weren't happy with the incident. I even saw notable comments to prove such thing. Well, I am going to finally tell you why it happened, and I believe it will confirm your suspicions of those events. You see, I somehow did not like how it was going. Either mine or certain favorites to some people were getting eliminated for no good reason in my opinion, and I somehow didn't like that. So I decided to do quite a few things that were, special, or at least it looked like it was. And they mostly involved the use of mainly Waluigi and Go-Nissan per what happened in the dealing with school fights episode. And yes, I do believe that poor script writing came into play on this incident here somehow, mainly because Duplex aired during school, and I had to rush write. It's on me though. I kind of should have handled this better, but I didn't. Then there came the mansion episode. If you recall correctly, there was Bowser, Waluigi, Xi Jinping, Go-Nissan, and the rest were females. And then all the boys poured lava on the mansion. After that, I made it so that Ninja got really mad at those four and gave them penalties to ensure they wouldn't win. And I believe that this made quite a bunch of you viewers mad. Now, before I say why that was the case, I just want to let you all know that I do not have anything against Waluigi or Bowser. I definitely know Xi Jinping is a bad dictator though. Anyways, the reason why I eliminated those four guys out of nowhere was because I actually wanted to get just one season to have an all-female finale and as early as possible. Kind of like how Colleen Ford has several all-female finales, but to a lesser extent. But here's the big thing. I was a feminist back in 2021. I believe that well-aligned women should be respected at all costs. I do know that the extreme feminists hate men, but I'm not one of that kind. I mean, there's a perfectly good reason I put people like NBA players on the Wii system. But what I mean to say is that I let that ideology take over my head and cause those big scenes you didn't like to go into action. I could have been labeled as a misandrist as well, which isn't what I wanted at all. But I'm a changed man now. As I mentioned before, I came to learn to treat every participant the same way in all series, no matter the gender, species, or alignment the character has. In other words, to be impartial with everyone and have a fair competition. Also, for your information, any aggressors known to have harassed other users during the time of Duplex have been blocked as of right now. After Titanium Man contacted me about the incident, I checked the comment stream he mentioned. Sure enough, it was a total riot. It was more than enough for me to put my foot down, block that perpetrator, and make things right with Titanium Man. Additionally, I banned the perpetrator from coming to my channel to vote or comment on the spot. And if my calculations are correct, you should all be informed by the Vice Creator that there will be a balance update in both the CE-verse and GTR-verse sometime in the near future. Now, fast forward to around the end of 2023 and beyond. Some of you know my Google Slides channel, but many of you don't. Well, that's totally fine. As you may have heard, there has been some running gag going around the seasons when they were on the Google Slides channel. It was none other than the minion butt joke. Well, I first discovered it as a gag when I rewatched Despicable Me 1 back in fall 2023 in college. I thought that bit of the movie was hilarious and I looked it up on YouTube. Turns out I found a commercial that involved that same joke. Apparently it made me laugh every single time in college. I showed it to a few of my friends there and they found it pretty hilarious just because of the way the minion said word. Then that's when I thought it was a good idea to use it as a running gag in my character elimination series. I mean, I barely have any of those in there anyways, so I figured, why not give that a try? Well, it went well the first few times, but it went downhill and to the point where it caused problems and outbursts. It was not long before people started complaining about it. Even Alex, the Vice creator, didn't like it, though he told me personally and I can't leak photo evidence due to security reasons. But that's not the only time this kind of thing happened. There were also a bunch of complaints regarding how I used my OCs. Not just Piper, but others too. I do recall that Ben Rocchetta didn't like Avery just because she was made by me, but unfortunately I don't have a more direct reason for this one as he deleted his account years ago. I'm pretty sure you get the point now. Anyways, going back to the minion butt joke, you may know that it started in Mardi Gras character elimination, which was the last character elimination season to be published on my main channel. As revealed in Creator's Arrest, the minion butt joke was originally supposed to debut in Character Elimination Superstars, with that season's finale being a prime target of such. That does not include that scene in episode 37 where the full scene was shown thanks to the one slur, hence that not being considered as an instance of the minion butt joke. But what you didn't know is that the minion butt joke was actually supposed to make its debut even earlier in episode 34, which was the Mayhem of the Millennium. Alex, who usually proofreads the episode for errors in the character elimination episodes, didn't like me using the minion butt joke in several major battle scenes of Mayhem of the Millennium, most notably a fight that saw Haley Steinfeld and Yao Ming take on false Alex Russo. When Alex saw the thing when proofreading the video, he told me to replace that particular scene with something that wasn't a potty joke, but I refused because I thought having a running gag in those particular scenes was going to be hilarious, just like in cartoons I saw. And then I was being rude and insufferable before I knew it. I thought I was being playful with him about the whole thing, but Alex didn't see it that way. Then I tried that again in the Character Elimination Superstars finale, but as a censor sound. But Alex once again didn't like that. I was pissed by that. So after he disagreed, I went berserk over it, and I was being very rude and insufferable to him as well, just like last time too. And 5 months after that incident, it was not until then I realized I messed up. Huge time. It stemmed from when there was a tie in the finale, which has never happened before in my character elimination series. The only problem was I didn't know how to break this kind of tie. When I sent my draft to Alex, I intended on Ariana Greenblatt breaking the tie by privately voting for one of them to win, which was Doncic. However, Alex felt the finale would have been biased as the winner wouldn't be truly determined by the viewers. The reason I turned that down was because I thought the viewers would complain that that would be a colossal waste of time, and it was out of fear that the succeeding season would get skipped over the courtesy of time and planning issues. But if anything, now that I think of it, it really doesn't make so much sense anymore. Anyways, Alex believes curse words should have been used after Ariana's vote was revealed to spice things up, and I vetoed him out of fear that I would get terminated, given that YouTube reported that my ad's suitability rating accuracy suspiciously tanked prior to this. If I recall correctly, that might have been caused by Dark Adam back in episode 6 of Peach vs. Piper 2, where he was being extremely racist and said multiple vulgar remarks. Eventually, I decided to have them curse, but censor the curse words with the minion butt sound as I stated before. At the time, I felt it was the only way to dodge YouTube termination bots and save my channel. Unfortunately for me, Alex didn't like that and said to use an actual censor, while he believed the minion butt censor was too childish and inappropriate. When he told me he didn't want the minion butt sound to be used as a censor, I blatantly disrespected him for neglecting said YouTube community guidelines policy, which was unjust for me to do. And I'd admit that I was being an insufferable cock after all. I've had a tendency of using reverse cards, which was to forcibly flip the script on someone and override his or her statements. I used it whenever I disagreed with Alex's statements in the past, including the aforementioned minion butt argument for the mayhem of the millennium. Now, saying this, I'm pretty sure the reason Alex brought the reverse cards himself this time was because he expressed his blatant disapproval of the joke, and as revenge for my dirty use of reverse cards, which was something I failed to understand at that time. Thinking about what YouTube could have done if his request went through, I explained what could have happened if the YouTube authorities found out and what would have happened to the channel as a whole. But he then countered that plenty of other YouTubers curse a lot and are doing just fine, such as RiceGum and iDubbbz. We then got into it regarding if the planned cursing was worse than those YouTubers cursing, which got a little bit heated, so Alex then tried to switch the topic elsewhere. Eventually, I decided to render with the minion butt sensor, but when I showed it to him, he wouldn't let that one pass, as he still believed that it should be replaced in favor of an actual sensor. And then I said the statement in which Alex strongly abominated. Hence, he reacted with the clown emoji. Not to mention, he was extremely livid over the whole thing and my justification as well. Now, I didn't do this because I single-handedly disliked his intentions, but rather because to some extent, I thought that curse words on videos would get the whole GTR Studios team in trouble. I knew this based on experience and PTSD from many past school moments. I'm not saying this to sugarcoat my justification on why I disobeyed. Alex. While what I did ensured safety of my channel from the YouTube bots, I learned that I was in the wrong for denying him like that, and I made a huge mistake doing so, which did actually cause disasters to happen. You see, after rejecting Alex's proposed second voting session in favor of Ariana Greenblatt choosing the winner, Alex and I plan to get the episode in on December 29th, but because of the heated standoff over my intended use of the minion butt sensor, it didn't go as planned. Eventually, after midnight in our area, I finally gave in and decided to use an actual sensor to cut out the cursing, as Alex wanted it to be, and it was eventually published on 1:20 a.m. Eastern Time on December 30th. I also opted to put an age restriction on the finale due to Zach and Doncic fight, as that was a last-ditch attempt to ensure safety of the channel from the community guidelines police. However, Alex removed that a few days later, if I remember correctly. The only silver lining is that if you live on the West Coast or in Hawaii, it would still show it was published on December 29th. Around the same time, though, there was another video that had a botched release. Remember this gameplay published on New Year's Eve in 2023? Well, that video was actually supposed to be published on December 29th on my channel, the same day as two of Active Bowser 9177's other Mario Sports Mix gameplays. Up to that point, all of my Mario Sports Mix gameplays were rendered in 60 frames per second, which Active Bowser 9177 software couldn't handle when rendering Mario Sports Mix gameplays. Although there were a few Mario Sports Mix gameplays on this channel that were rendered in 60 frames per second, it was actually me who did the final rendering for those gameplays. Active Bowser 9177 returned to doing his own rendering of his Mario Sports Mix gameplays through iMovie in December 2023, which, while it can export in 60 frames per second, is unable to do such with the Mario Sports Mix footage. Meanwhile, his intros and outros, as well as his pre-2021 videos, were rendered through Windows Story Remix, which also didn't support 60 frames per second. Due to the quality differences, Active Bowser 9177 and Alex preferred it to be me who rendered that particular gameplay so that it would fit my other gameplay's resolution. Several times before December 29th, 2023, both Alex and Active Bowser 9177 asked me to render that gameplay, likely so that the gameplay would be ready to go on my channel that day. Apparently that failed because I was experiencing massive time deficiencies. I also had to get my priorities straight, but you'll see what I mean about that. A few days prior to the massive incidents, me and my boss-in-law had a fallout. It was about some sort of college transfer, and I believe that most of my time has been wasted due to his iron fists and eagle eyes. All I can say is, you should have seen him. He was the epitome of millions of security guards surrounding a mental health facility. I even had to perform stealth mode because of this. This persisted for about 3 to 4 days. It was really bad that I don't want to say anything about it due to the community guidelines clause regarding shocking detail. All I know is that I was on a time drought, at least for the significant part of it. And then there was a minion butt thing, but I think I already told you what happened with that one. I guess you get the idea now. The point is, because of both disputes, I never got to rendering said gameplay, which prompted ActiveBowser9177 to make a last-ditch attempt and render it on his own, in spite of the quality difference. Sadly, it didn't finish processing on YouTube on time. YouTube was processing videos slower than usual that day, which added to an insult to injury. The reason we knew that the processing time was bogus was because ActiveBowser9177 and I did some rendering tests in June 2024 to see whether it was legitimate, in which it was actually faster than what actually occurred that day. Had the gameplay finished rendering on YouTube at those faster speeds, it would have been published just before midnight. But even then, it was my fault because I should have handled this whole thing better and not procrastinate. At some other point, we did a render race in which we tested which version of a randomly selected video would render faster. Sure enough, his software, iMovie, won with a time of about 40 minutes, while mine took 1 hour and a half to render. I was gonna say ActiveBowser9177 should have rendered that Alexandra Anna video, but then I remembered that iMovie didn't support 60 frames per second. So even though that was a no-go, he still had to do it because, as I said before, he wanted to get it done by midnight. But I am going to be painfully real. It would have never happened if my boss-in-law staged this kind of thing at the worst possible time. Overall, I've confessed what I had on my tail now. I just needed to get this off of my chest before I get permanently locked up. All in all, I just wanted to say that what I did altogether was not cool, unforgivable, and inexcusable, especially how I handled it. All this time, I really messed up, and when I finally realized it, I was blindsided by my own behavior because I didn't know it was wrong back then. If I'm being honest right now, I've made this mistake many times without notice. I mean, I was also a prime piece of shit for my ideologies too, such as hating on Carol Baum after she badmouthed Sydney Sweeney, and the time when Charlie Gavin fired Tara Strong from Boxtown even though she kickstarted it. That caused me to hate Boxtown altogether. But to be fair, maybe I hated him, Melissa Barrera, and Susan Sarandon because I thought they were all anti-Semitic. But I've came to learn I took it too far and was blindly pro-Israel. This was something I didn't want to become given the immorality and massive backlash. Anyways, the reason I stepped down from making character eliminations episodes since last summer was because I needed that time to pull myself together. A lot of that time. I felt like I've let everyone down, even my closest associates, for my bad decisions before that time. And I realized it was best for me to take accountability and just be true to myself from this point forward. Besides, what happened, and I unfortunately can't do much about it but to take any necessary action to prevent this from happening again. So, I want to apologize to everyone who was affected by my dumbass behavior, especially Alex and ActiveBowser9177. I realized that I took things too far and it wasn't cool at all. Gonna say this for real now, I was a pretty big jerk for all of that. I don't expect to be forgiven. I just wanted to apologize. And I really mean it to the fullest of my personality. If you don't want to stick around anymore, I understand. I won't stop you. At the end of the day, it is my channel with my name on it, and I take full responsibility for my actions. To those outraged by what I did, I am genuinely sorry about what happened regarding such things. I mean, I always want to make good content and all, but now I understand that it's not always going to be the case where everyone literally likes it, along with other aspects. But am I going to hate on people just because they dislike my content and stuff now? No. If there's anything I've learned from this year-long fiasco, it is to accept constructive criticism, handle opinions, and stuff like that so that I would have better credibility and better positive alignment. And transparency matters in a great deal as well. Anyways, I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to form the journey of my YouTube career. I really appreciate you all for watching, voting, and commenting. And for the most part, I think the channel was and still is a success. But along that journey, I lost track of what morals I needed to stand for. So I'm gonna try my very hardest to become a better person starting today. At the utmost importance, I will make every effort to get my act together. I'm not just gonna say I will do better, I need to do better. I'm gonna temporarily step down until further notice in great efforts to figure things out and pull myself together. So, as always, be courageous, do your best work, and thank you for watching my videos. I'll see you all soon. Hey everyone, Mr. Vice Creator here, also known as Alex. I'm very sad to announce that what you've heard is actually true. The creator has been arrested for real and has been sentenced to 250 days in prison. It is his wish that I maintain his legacy through this channel by putting out high-quality series and videos. In other words, I will temporarily take over as the main operator of the channel until the creator gets back. I ask that you all give the GTR Studios team some time to process this incident and figure out what to do next. However, we know that the incident that happened to him in college was either a possible misunderstanding or it got blown out of proportion for some reason. I thank everyone in advance through your patience and understanding, and we will try to get channel updates as we move through this together. I would also request that you do not ask for any info of the ordeal on any social platform. We believe that it is best if you don't know his true identity, as this can spark outrage in both communities, and we do not want that to happen. As a result, I will not disclose or spread any information about the creator's case online. Anyways, moving on. As you have all been aware, a large amount of Mii's have already been removed from the Wii system. Now, here's a simple answer to those who are wondering why. We had to comply with third-party rights as well as several cease and desist orders that were filed against the creator. The creator lost the ownership rights to his Wii OC Mii's, meaning that all of them have been removed as of creator's arrest, regardless of whether they were planned to be removed in the future or not. But whether I am approved to remake those that have been removed are the authorities' decisions. That being said, in other regards, you may wonder why the Mario Kart Tour and Nintendo Switch account has still been active as of his arrest. This is because I was the one operating both accounts after the creator got arrested, as he gave me the accounts. I was aware that this wasn't possible per the Nintendo account agreement, but we agreed that I would co-own the account and we'd assumed that we were also family friends. Don't worry, I've known him for a long time, and rest assured, Nintendo will not look into the scheme. Apparently, you may have also noticed that my voice is kind of the same as the creator's. Ha, yeah. You'd be surprised by what you could do with AI these days. Anyways, we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. The chances of me ever getting the Wii OCs back are pretty low, if not impossible. But I will update you with details sooner or later, as well as what will happen to the creator. Thank you.
time.